All right. Yeah, I just have some quick final thoughts, if that's all right. So let me introduce a bit of technical jargon. Cowabunga is a term that I've recently come to use just as a reaction of surprise to some kind of event or something that people are saying. And right now I'm sort of in the ironic phase of using that term, but inevitably with the way in which you use terms, there comes a point in which I'm gonna just blurt out cowabunga in a very serious and sincere way. So that sort of describes one mode of what you can call post-irony, is when when something used to be ironic and now it's sort of meant in a really sincere way. So this is one of the topics of my research at Cardiff University, which is sort of about the psychology of post-irony, and in particular as a response to the absurdity of life. Is that a healthy way to deal with life? And today has been really useful in that. So I was struck, for example, by the way in which I engaged with my plant partner during Valentina's workshop, in which I really tried to see the plant as as a partner, as an equal, but I just couldn't do it at first. And I started moving my plant around as if taking it for a straw or something, and that was a very playful, ironic way of doing it. But then all of a sudden I got really annoyed by where the plant wanted me to go. So it just took me, I was probably annoying other people as well, because my plant just wanted to go straight through where people were sitting. And I really, it was funny and also, yeah, really annoying to experience that. And that also made me think of the elements, if I perceived it correctly, of self-consciousness within Simone's piece. At least that's what I got away from it with all the mirrors, and then the controller is a sort of, maybe a sort of detached way of approaching yourself. And there's sort of a problem with that self-conscious mode of interacting with yourself, which I think was really visible from your performance, Simone. And I was reminded somehow of the ending of, or the later pages of a heartbreaking work of Staggering Genius by Dave Eggers, in which the character, Dave Eggers himself supposedly, tries to spread the ashes, I think, of both his parents, or either one of them, because they passed away really shortly after one another. And he's sort of so self-conscious about the process of spreading the ashes, like, is this a meaningful way to do it? Am I doing it right? Which sort of defeats the purpose, because he's thinking about what he's doing instead of actually doing it. So I think that's where post-irony really comes in handy, where you're trying to have this ironic point of departure in the first place, and then develop it almost unconsciously into a more more positive embrace of what you're doing. And I think with Simone's piece, there was all of a sudden a sort of joy of being seen. From my perspective, I could even empathize with a sort of exhibitionism. Maybe I'm putting it a little bit crass, but that way of putting yourself out there and being really happy with it, you know? And that brings me maybe to my final thought on anxiety, which was or fear, which was a topic in Hobbit's film, and within Luke's talk as well. I think the wing scuffle spectacle. Yeah. Was a celebration of fear. I think you called it that. And that's something that I really want to take away from this event, that there will be anxiety from which we cannot completely detach ourselves, and even do not want to detach ourselves from. So how do we navigate that anxiety? And I think the Metamodern would propose an oscillation between that detachment for maybe practical purposes in the context of not being too emotional when you're in the air and there's real danger involved, and at the same time allowing for sort of immersion, pathos, maybe even catharsis. So that sort of wraps up my reflection on this as a starting expert on metamodernism, maybe, or one part of it, which is post-irony. Which leads me to, thanking the contributors for their contribution, because cowabunga, it has been really great. And we have a sort of modest gift for you to remember this event, which is a poster signed by yours truly of the Metamodern Circus, which you've maybe seen around town on the internet. So first of all, Hobbit, thank you. You're lying on top, so this one's for you. Oh, sorry. Luke, for you. Then for Valentina, thank you so much. Thom, thank you. It's in no particular order, by the way, as you may be able to see. And thank you, Simone. And that wraps up everything of the day. No, I'm just kidding. Because we have a documentation workshop, which you may or may not want to join. Should I give the mic to you?
Well, I sort of said a little bit about it before you stood up, so we'll go and have a break, and then people who don't want to be involved any further can go and enjoy the rest of the sunshine. People who do want to be involved further can come back into this room at 1:30.
Yeah. Yeah, and one thing we should also say is thank you to our funders, the SWWDTP, the ESRC, Wales DTP, if I get it right, and then the Doctoral Academy. So we're legally obligated to say that. Thank you so much.
Recording stop.